Hi, it's me. Number 10, the Siberian Child. In 2010, a farmer in Siberia came across some bones while plowing his field. He immediately called the police and told them what he had found. The police were very skeptical, but they went out to the farm just in case. It turned out the farmer was telling the truth. They had stumbled across a real-life mummy that was thousands of years old. Scientists believe the mummy is between 20,000 and 30,000 years old. This makes him one of the oldest humans ever discovered. The scientists named him the Siberian Toddler because he was only about 2 years old when he died. The way he died was also quite unusual. It seems he was killed by a sharp object that pierced his chest, probably a spear. But what makes him so mysterious is how he ended up buried under a pile of stones. Researchers say it was likely an ancient burial ritual. The people who lived back then carefully dug a hole, placed the toddler inside, and then covered him with stones. It was an attempt to keep him safe in the afterlife. The people who buried the Siberian toddler were nomadic hunters. At the time, Siberia was full of woolly mammoths and other large animals. These animals would have provided food for the nomadic tribes as they roamed around the vast landscape. Unfortunately, we will never know exactly what happened to this little boy all those years ago. All we have are his bones and a few clues as to his identity. Number 9, Dragon Man. A man in China recently discovered a strange skull in a river. The skull was unlike anything he had seen before. It looked almost alien-like. And since then, experts have been able to piece together just what kind of creature it belonged to. It turns out the skull was once attached to the head of a prehistoric human who lived 146,000 years ago. It's been dubbed the Dragon Man because of how strangely elongated it is. Most notably, the Dragon Man had extremely large eye sockets, a low forehead, and a jaw that jutted out over his teeth. Unlike modern humans, the Dragon Man didn't have a chin at all. The most amazing part is that scientists believe the Dragon Man may have been the first member of our species, Homo sapiens. Of course, this is only a theory, and there is still a lot that needs to be uncovered. But the Dragon Man could hold important secrets to where we came from and how we evolved. According to Smithsonian Magazine, the Dragon Man may have lived during a period when humans were migrating out of Africa. This was also when Homo sapiens began developing more advanced tools and learning how to make fire. It is possible the Dragon Man was one of the first humans to venture outside of Africa and into Asia. 8. The discovery at Talpiot. In 1970, construction workers in Jerusalem made a shocking discovery. While excavating at the Talpiot burial cave, they found a series of ossuaries inscribed with ancient names. One of the names was Mary, which was incredibly strange since Mary Magdalene was rumored to be buried in Jerusalem. Some people even said the inscription read Mary of Cleophas, meaning it was definitely Mary Magdalene. Unfortunately, further research revealed the inscription actually says Mary, daughter of Joseph. Still, it is pretty exciting to think we may have found the burial place of Jesus' most famous disciple. Archaeologists also found the ossuary of a man named Jesus, son of Joseph. It's possible these two really are related, but it's also possible they are simply a coincidence. What makes this discovery even weirder is that we found many other ossuaries with similar names. There was even an entire family of the Caiaphas, the Jewish religious leaders who handed Jesus over to the Romans. Number 7, Otzi the Iceman. Otzi the Iceman is arguably the most famous prehistoric human ever discovered. In 1991, 2 German tourists stumbled across a mummified body in the Italian Alps. The body was 5,300 years old and had shockingly good preservation. To this day, Otzi is the oldest naturally mummified human ever found. He was only 18 years old when he was killed by an arrow through the heart. His body stayed preserved in the ice for thousands of years until it was finally discovered by those 2 tourists. Over the years, scientists have learned a lot about Otzi. They have reconstructed his face, revealing what he looked like. And they have examined his body to learn more about his lifestyle. One of the most interesting things about Otzi is that he had tattoos. These were created by poking ink into his skin, a form of tattooing that is still used by some tribes in Africa and Australia today. It seems Otzi's tattoos may have been a form of medicine. Each tattoo was placed directly over a painful joint, suggesting they were used to relieve arthritis and muscle pain. And now for No 6. But first, I want to give a big shout out to some supporters. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you are new here, be sure to join the family. No 6 Red Deer Cave people. In 2008, researchers in China discovered something shocking. Inside the Red Deer Cave, they found the remains of 14 prehistoric people who had died 14,000 years ago. What made this such a significant discovery is that the cave contained the largest collection of ancient DNA ever. Since then, scientists have been able to sequence some of this ancient DNA. It turns out the people who lived in the Red Deer Cave weren't just ordinary humans. They were Denisovans. Denisovans are an extinct group of humans who lived in Asia and Oceania. They were very similar to Neanderthals, except they had slightly larger brains. Researchers believe the Denisovans interbred with humans, which means some of us still have a tiny bit of their DNA inside us. To this day, we don't know too much about the Denisovans. We don't even know for certain if they were a separate species or just a group of very primitive humans. But discoveries like the ones in the Red Deer Cave are helping us understand what life was like all those years ago. Thanks for watching. Which of these prehistoric humans fascinated you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And remember to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. See you soon. Bye.